Good morning, good morning, good morning. Getting my setup together, so be a little patient with me. We're going to get this thing right. Happy to have everyone on this morning. Look forward to talking to you today. Of course, you already see the subject on the screen. Once again, good morning to everyone. Happy to have you here. And let's see here. Let's make sure we know the subject. The subject is today about the debt trap. And happy to have you here. Of course, I am Coach Steele, and this is another session, another training of Coach Steele's Finance Training. And with Coach Steele's Finance Training, you can find me live on YouTube. And of course, feel free to tune in on YouTube. That YouTube channel is Coach Steele's Finance Training. You type it in, you'll find me, and make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. I'm excited about the topic today. I am super pumped up about the conversation today. It's a deep conversation that needs to be had, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it. But as you tune in on today, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you share this with as many people as you can. Share it on YouTube, share it on Facebook, whichever platform that you're tuned in on. Make sure you share this as well. This is a good conversation. And so we are talking about the debt trap today, the trap of debt, consumer debt, whatever type of debt, mortgage, whatever it is, we're talking about this trap called debt. And of course, how to get out of it and the depths of it. How deep does it go? Where did this start? How did we get to where we are now, to where we're trying to dig ourselves out of the hole? Because if we find the pattern, if we find the routine, if we find the habits, then we can break free and put ourselves in a better situation. So anyway, on this morning, we are talking about the debt trap. This is Coach Steele, and this is Coach Steele's Finance Training on YouTube. And I am on Facebook on my Facebook page, which is just simply Simon Steele. And happy that everyone is tuning in. We do have a lot to cover. As you tune in, make sure you send me a good morning, a thumbs up or something. That way I can see who I'm talking to, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to send a good morning to everyone. And actually, that will only go through the YouTube channel when I throw it in the chat there. But definitely happy to have you here. Anyone ready to talk about the debt trap? Anybody ever been a victim of this debt trap in America as well? So those are the things we're going to talk about. And as I dive into those things, I do want to say this first before I get started. And I purposely say it early on. Just remember that we are getting very, very close to 300 subscribers on YouTube. And of course, when we get to 300, just keep in mind that I am going to give away $50. And if you want that $50, you need to email me, and you have to email me the name of one of the titles of one of my YouTube videos. So go to the YouTube channel, find one of the titles of one of the videos. Feel free to watch it as well. It'll only help you. And then shoot me an email. And when you shoot me that email, make sure you put the title of one of those YouTube videos in there. And so you go to the YouTube channel. If you're used to hearing me on Facebook, definitely go to the YouTube channel and get a lot of free content about financial literacy and guidance in there as well. All right, let's get this party started. Debt in America. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this debt trap. Let's talk about the situation that we have in America, which for some people, they like to glorify it. For some people, they like to brag about it or talk about it or get excited about it. And everyone has their own reasoning why they get excited about debt or how they use it strategically, whether for the good or for the bad. But when we talk about this debt trap, What are we talking about? We're talking about how, still getting everything set up, because even though I talk to you all, I have another big screen off to the side where I can see myself as well. So when we talk about this debt trap, and of course, I also have my beautiful pillow here. I love my pillow. I call it my money pillow. It's green. So that's my money pillow. Every time y'all see me adjusting, that's my pillow behind me. But anyway, probably TMI. But I'm excited about this subject today. There's so much to cover when we talk about this debt trap, because we have to realize how dangerous debt can be if we don't have it under control. We have to realize, listen to what I'm saying, how dangerous debt can be if we do not have it under control. There's so many different angles to attack this thing. And there are some people, and of course, we can talk about on the business side of it too, where you'll see certain businesses where they're high gearing and there's certain businesses where they're low gearing. And if they're low gearing, then they have it under control, right? I'm talking about there are most people in America where they do not have their debt under control. In other words, they're drowning, they're underwater, they're in the red, they're not in the green. And so when you're not in the green and you're not positive, when you have more going out than you have coming in, then there is a serious problem. But I really want to dive into the mentality on today. So I'm excited for everyone that is going to tune in today and really grasp what's happening in America, that really can understand this domino effect that is happening from all the way from the top all the way down to the bottom, to the common person. You know, in America, we say we have low income, or we have the poor, we have the middle class, then we have, people who are wealthy, and then, of course, we have the elite. So whether you put it into 4 different positions or whether you put it into 3, because of the situations that are going on in America, really it's going to turn in potentially to about 2 classes. And that's going to be people who are financially well off and those who are just struggling. That is what is going to happen because of the system, the patterns that are happening. They cannot be ignored, and certain things are inevitable if we do not change our behaviors. So as we talk about this debt trap, I want you to think about how dangerous debt can be for your life personally. And so you must understand debt is dangerous because debt can control you. Debt has the ability to control you. It has the ability to manipulate you and control your life. Debt has the ability to dictate your current actions, your behaviors, your mentality. In other words, debt has an effect on your mental health. How many people understand that debt can have an effect on your mentality, your mental health, how you feel when you wake up in the morning, how you handle other people, how you handle yourself, how many hours you put in at work, and why? Debt has the ability to control you and manipulate your behaviors, your actions, and your mentality. And that's why debt is dangerous. That's why we have to really take debt serious and really not gloss over it, but really focus in on what we sign off on, why we're deciding to get in certain things, and can we really handle it? Because we have to understand the long-term consequences, the long-term repercussions of why we choose to accept, receive, sign off on certain debt. What is the benefit? What are the pros? What are the cons? What is the best case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? Because the debt trap can be dangerous. The debt trap has short-term repercussions, and the debt trap has long-term repercussions. Think about what I said. Debt can be dangerous because it can control and manipulate your life. And that's why we have to have this conversation on today. That's why your friends, your family, your loved ones, people that are struggling financially, not only do we need a way out, but we need to shift our mentality. We need to shift on how we think about this thing and how we see this thing. Oh, this is an important conversation on today. It's extremely important. is not to be ignored at all. Even if you're doing well, there may be someone in your life who's not doing well. And we should all desire to see our circle of people and people that we know, our loved ones, our friends, our family, everyone around us, we should desire that they succeed and be successful. What sense does it make to be the only successful person in your circle? What sense does it make to desire that you are this special person and you're doing so well, but everyone else around you is struggling? And what am I talking about? I'm not saying you should give everyone around you money so that they're doing better. No, you'll sink your own battleship. That's not sustainable. What I'm saying is we have to educate our people, whether it's the older group, whether it's the younger group, especially the younger generation, because they are the generation that is to come. A lot of the older generation have been tainted with bad ideas. We've been put in a box, cookie cutter thought process mentality. And so we're very limited on what we are open to. But these younger minds need to be tapped in because we can truly make a difference through them and with them because they have not been brainwashed to follow the financial systems of this world. Also, of course, I do have a sensitive spot in my heart for especially women in America. A lot of women in America are at the most detriment of falling into what we call this debt trap, falling into this trap of not being prepared financially in the present and also in the future. You hear me many times talk about how women in America, what do I say? I say they are least prepared for retirement. And most women in America, about 70%, are living paycheck to paycheck. So that's why it's important that we put this information out. That's why it's important that we begin to share this information, whether you're on YouTube, whether you are on Facebook. We are in a movement with Coach Steele's Finance Training. And in this movement, we are going to financially guide people to financial freedom. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get people to the promised land of financial freedom. Is there a problem with that? Does anybody have an issue with getting to the promised land of financial freedom? Well, we have to shift our mindset. If you're listening in on this morning, just type in shift your mindset. Oh man, this message on today is going to be timeless and it's going to be priceless. It's going to be what I call a classic because of what it is entails, what we're talking about on today, the depths of it. And so, good morning. Yes, sir. Mr. Tony Sherman. He can scream debt free. Why? Because he is truly free indeed. He is debt free. So I'm excited about this conversation on today and the depths in which I'm going to go and where we're going to take this. You all make sure we share this information because we're going to put out a lot of good information. Okay, we got also So Sweet and Crafty. Shift your mindset. Okay. So Sweet and Crafty. So Sweet and Crafty, and I'm going to get off. I'm going to definitely jump on the debt trap, but So Sweet and Crafty, that sounds like an occupation or some type of, I don't know, entrepreneurship. So Sweet and Crafty. Ooh, I got to take my time to say that. Is that a certain thing that you do? Like, is that part of like entrepreneurship? Just in the chat, in that comment section. Okay, So Sweet and Crafty, you are on YouTube. Yay! One of my YouTube people are tuned in. Okay, put down there in the chat what you do and what So Sweet and Crafty is about. Just want to know that information. Yes, good morning, Patricia Ford. Okay, Patricia Ford is just jumping in there. She says, good morning, Elder. Shift your mindset. The Bible says that you should owe no man. Oh, see, you're hitting on where I'm going. Don't get too far ahead, but I don't mind you getting too far ahead. I'm just talking. So I'm excited about today, and I need everybody to tune in, especially my women, because all of the statistics where they say 70% of women are living paycheck to paycheck and women are least likely to be prepared for retirement. I'm sick of it. And for a number of reasons. Long story short, don't want to tell a sob story, but I grew up in a household where my mother was raising 7 children. She took 2 of them in of her own. My stepfather passed away. She had 2 by him. And so she ended up with taking care of all these children. And my mom had a big heart. She was a registered nurse, and so she naturally was a nurturer and a carer of people. So anyway, so she's left by herself with 7 children to take care of. And so single mother, registered nurse, you already know those nursing hours. Those nurses are ripping and running all the time, right? They're always at the hospital working, putting in these crazy hours. Meanwhile, she did everything she could, but on a single parent income, it was very difficult to maintain. And so there's a lot that we went without, and she did her best to prepare for retirement, but we were paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of times we didn't have enough. And so I grew up in that household, but as I got older, guys, I realized that my mom was limited on the level of financial literacy that she had. And as I got older, she began to ask me about guidance and advice when it came to financial literacy. And that's when I learned there was a gap. And when we talk about generational knowledge, information from one generation to another, there is a huge gap when it comes to financial literacy. And so what you must understand that we have to, how do I put this? We have to transfer knowledge not only to ourselves from where it is accessible, but there is an older generation that does not have certain knowledge and information because it was not given to them, or they didn't have access to technology, or they weren't in certain environments. And we have to open up their eyes. Just like our eyes have to be opened up, we have to help them and open up their eyes and say and shout from the mountaintops, there is a better way to do these things. There is a better option now. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But most importantly, I want to talk about how all of this started and where it came from. Why does America have this mentality that we have to survive, live, and thrive off of debt? And so everyone on Facebook, one of my YouTube subscribers, So Sweet and Crafty, she says, it is a play on words for my crafting channel on YouTube. I am award-winning cake decorator, award-winning recipe creator, crafter, and I also have a business. Oh, man. Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay, I need to make sure that I'm subscribed to your channel as well. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Now, let me go to my next subject. My point was initially how dangerous debt is, because it can control you, it can manipulate your life and your future generations. That's how dangerous debt is. Why? Because you can get so far in debt. Guess what? You got to stay at that job that you're at. Why? Because you cannot afford to take a day off. You cannot take a moment to breathe for yourself because the bills are piling up so much to the point that you cannot breathe. So therefore, debt has dictated and controlled your day, your life, and where you work, how long you decide to work. You can't take as much time off and vacations as you can. We cannot allow the debt trap to dictate and control us. Patricia Ford says, because they want to keep us in slavery. So yes, debt is, this is so deep. Listen to what I'm saying. Debt is a physical slavery that you find yourself in, but debt can be given to you digitally to keep you enslaved physically. So debt can be given and acquired digitally to keep you enslaved physically. And that's for any culture, any creed, no matter what color you are, you have to understand the dangers of it. Anitra said, shift your mindset. I'm shifting my mindset. Guys, this is important on today. Once again, this message is probably going to be replayed, this message, and some of the things from this is probably going to go viral. That's how important it is. We cannot allow debt to control us and manipulate us. And so sometimes mentally, we put ourselves in debt. Why? Why do we put ourselves in debt? Why does America feel that it's important to share and push debt? Why is that the mentality in America? Well, think about this. Think about this, guys. Sometimes we look and we want to keep up with, of course, we always use the last name. I don't know why. We always say they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. I don't know who the original Joneses were that everybody was trying to keep up with. But whoever this Jones was, this Jones family, they must have been very special because everybody keeps using their name, their phrase. And so I don't know, maybe we should change it to keeping up with the Steels. So anyway, I plan on continuing to be financially well off, financially wealthy. Whatever your last name is, maybe we should use your last name in this example. Whatever your last name. People need to keep up with the Fords. People need to keep up with the Perrys. People need to keep up with the Shermans. Whoever is tuning in on today, definitely happy to have you tuned in to Coach Steele's finance training. But we have to shift our mindset. Sometimes the problem is people are trying to keep up with what they see around them or what society says you're supposed to have, right? Or what society says your life should look like, what society says the car you should drive, what society says the type of chains you should wear, what society says the type of phone you should have. Why? Oh, I don't understand it. Why are we putting phones on credit just to be able to call someone? I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but it's not worth struggling just to have an upgraded phone so you can still make the same phone call that I'm going to make on a regular phone. There are so many different things that Simon can have or that Simon can go buy, but Coach Steele, there's certain things I'm not going to buy until the time is right. If you're listening in, make sure you type in, I won't buy until the time is right. I won't buy until the time is right. So listen to what I'm saying. We get so desperate and we get so tunnel vision that we think that the only way to execute, the only way to survive, the only way to maintain a status or just maintain survivability in our lives, for our family, for our loved ones, for our household, sometimes we feel the only way to do that is through debt. We have factored in the amount of debt that we have access to into our budget. What am I saying? Some people, they make maybe $4,000 a month, but they have access to $1,000 on their credit card. And what we have done is we are developing a habit of saying, I have $5,000 that I can spend every single month. Why? Because I have $4,000 that I make and I have access to $1,000 on a credit card. That doesn't make sense. We can't keep factoring in what we have access to on the credit card as part of our income. Why? Because if we keep giving ourselves that $1,000 wiggle room, when we do it again another month, now we're $2,000 in debt. We're $2,000 in debt, and now we're making the minimum payment on this credit card. The minimum payment, and of course, the debt continues to pile up. So guys, listen to what I'm saying. Sometimes we have some people in America where an emergency happened, something crazy happened, and so because of that, they had to use a credit card. They had to go get a loan. I need a vehicle so that I can get back and forth to work. We will try to find excuses and reasoning and logic to make it make sense to fall into a debt trap. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't get offended. We will find excuses and reasons to get into a debt trap. Is the excuse and the logic worth the trap that you'll find yourself in? Think about a mouse when they see the cheese in the trap. They're hungry. I don't know if rats, their stomachs growl or not, but what if their stomach is growling? And so they're hungry, their stomach is growling, and so they see this cheese and they're like, I got to get it. I got to get to this cheese. They're going to make a logical reason as to why they should trap themselves because they were hungry in that moment. Oh, this is so good. How many times have we made mistakes? I'm not just talking about you all. I'm talking about me too. How many times have we made mistakes and went acquired something, purchased something, swiped our card for something, and we really didn't need it, but mentally, logically, we made it make sense to get ourselves in a trap? Read a comment real quick. It says, you said shift your mindset. What if I take a PTO day off from work to create financial freedom? A day to create a new system to become debt free, a day to create a passive income business. My mind is already shifting to break from that cookie cutter propaganda. Don't use big words on my live. Don't try to set me up for a big word. Anyway, propaganda that we were convinced to believe. Oh, I like that. I like that. See? See? Now y'all are tapping in. We're tapping into the creativity. I need everyone to start tapping in to the creativity that they have in their life, because each and every one of us are creative in our own ways. And so I want you all to take the basic knowledge and the cookie cutter thought process that they've put us in, and we got to throw it away. We got to throw it away, and we got to put on something new. Anitra, teacher, baker, party maker. Okay, play on words, just like so sweet and crafty. I like that word. Anyway, she's saying, I'll take a PTO day off. I'm going to have my current job pay me. But while I'm off, I'm not just going to sit back and do nothing. I'm using that time. I'm using that time to develop and create an opportunity or product or service to create passive income so that I can get paid. In other words, I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to take off of my job and stop focusing on managing and maintaining their business. And I'm going to create a business for myself. I'm going to create an opportunity for myself. Why? Because it gives me another opportunity to make money. It gives me another opportunity to make income. And with that, who knows? Now I have my 9-to-5 job. I have my passive income. So no matter what happens on this job over here, no matter if they cut my pay, no matter if they cut me, I have set myself up for success in the future. Because why? I am a Anitra, teacher, baker, party maker. I am so sweet and crafty. Whatever you are, I have created another entity. See how you just become a creator? I've created another entity because what is in me and the gifts and skills that I have, I'm going to use my time wisely and be creative with it to create another project, to create another opportunity. What are we talking about today? We're talking about this debt trap and how to get out. You know, they made a movie called Get Out, and that's what I'm saying with debt trap. We need to get out. Whether someone needs to flash a light in front of you or whatever it is, we need to get out of debt. And I come to flash to wake you up, to let you know that we got to get out of the sunken place. And so debt can be controlling. And let me get into some history here. And make sure that if you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, that you are subscribed on my YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training. And let's see. Let me get there real quick so you can see the title of it. So Coach Steele's Finance Training is the YouTube channel, right? So listen to what I'm saying. America. Why does America have this mentality of debt? I've been doing some research. I've been doing some research about our country. And of course, I love America. So don't think I'm going to bash the country. I'm talking about habits and patterns and how it started at the top and it has trickled down to us. Listen to what I'm saying. So I like when I say listen to what I'm saying and I keep touching my head instead of my ears, but it's cool. I like it. So listen to what I'm saying, y'all. I was doing some research on America, and I'm like, well, when did debt start? Why? When did we start borrowing money in America? And it talks about back in 1760, somewhere in there, during the Revolutionary War. All of my experts and all my history majors, whatever I mess up when I talk about history, you can clean it up in the comments section. So during the Revolutionary War, the American Revolutionary War, when we were fighting against the British, we needed money. Oh, this is so good. So during war, during a time of conflict and strife, we borrowed money from France and the Netherlands. Why? Because we wanted to win the war. We were at war. We were at battle fighting for freedom. And in the fight for freedom, one of the logics we had, one of the mentalities we had was we need to borrow money so that we can win this fight and have freedom. Now, of course, America, we celebrate 1776 because that was the Declaration of Independence. And so we declared ourselves free. Oh, this is good. This is so good. Because of a mindset and a mentality and a document, they were able to declare themselves free. But the logic was, in order to survive, in order to get to where I'm trying to go, I'm going to borrow to get myself free. Oh, talk to me today. Talk to me today. How many people have had the mindset that there's so much conflict going on, there's so much in my life happening that I gotta do this, I gotta borrow, I gotta make this move, I have to make myself vulnerable financially to get myself free. This is the only way out. And of course, what ended up happening after the Revolutionary War, America continued to get in debt. And the debt continued to grow. And as the debt continued to grow, eventually there's a president named Andrew Jackson that got America completely out of debt. America was in the green. America was in the positive under Andrew Jackson. And then, of course, after that, America continued to climb back into debt. And of course, you see that debt is extremely at an all-time high. But if you look at the history of America, every time there was a war, every time we went into war, every time we went into a battle, we would borrow money and we would get into debt. Oh man. I am politely laying a principle down. I am politely, and if you read between the lines, you're going to see one of the strategies to stay out of debt. This is something that, and it's funny, this is something that you won't hear. Most people, when they say stay out of debt, they'll tell you, stay away from credit cards. They'll tell you all these different strategies. I am laying down a mentality, a principle, a mental principle and mentality to have to keep you away from debt as well. Not just a physical thing to do, but I really want to shift and talk about our mindset. Every time there is conflict or war, America's debt continued to rise. Every time they had drama in their lives, every time America had drama and issues with someone else, the debt continued to climb. So what if you're a peacemaker? What if you're not at war? What if you stay away from drama? What if you stay away from conflict? Sometimes, and let me break it down. If I have any young people listening in, I definitely want to talk to them and break it down to a level that they understand as well. We're talking about the debt trap, the trap that you can find yourself in America. There are sometimes rappers or there's artists in Hollywood, right? And so young people, if you're listening in, when rappers or when there's drama and conflict, there are certain shows, there are certain venues that will not allow the rapper or that artist to perform because the drama, the war, the violence, the conflict, the beef that they are in is at such a level that it is a detriment to that entity, is a detriment to that platform. So they will not allow the person to perform. They won't allow the person to make money and do their job because of the drama and the war and the conflict that they got themselves in. I am telling you on today that being a peacemaker naturally makes your financial situation and position better. Learning how to operate and function in peace and having a peace of mind is going to keep you out of certain traps and certain debt traps that we'll find in America. Most people don't talk about that. Most people won't teach that to you, and they won't teach you to have that mentality. But you have to understand and learn how to surround yourself in a peaceful situation. Somebody's listening and saying, well, what does that have to do with the $50,000 that I owe? What does that have to do with this? What environment have you been around? Who have you been around? What mentality of people are you around? Do they carry a peaceful mindset? When you were in certain situations, were you at peace when certain things happen? So understand that. Now, I want you to understand, I'm talking about the inception of America. The inception of America, 1776, America is free, but they have debt because of violence and because of war, right? Well, in its infancy, in America's infancy, they walk in debt. They carry debt. So now we have debt at its highest, at the government, at the high level. And so we have these people who have come together and decided that we were going to put the country in debt, borrow to get out of war, to free ourselves from conflict. But then there's a trickle down. How does that relate to us? What is my point? I'll get to one of my points. In your infancy, as you grow up in America, naturally, America tries to give you debt. Think about it. When you're in high school, when you get ready to go off to college, the first thing that they throw at you are student loan opportunities. The first thing they throw at you are private loan opportunities so that you can go to a 4-year university, college, a 2-year school, whatever it is. In your infancy, just like America, when America came into its freedom and its infancy, there's a parallel there. So we are now faced with the opportunity to sign for thousands of dollars in debt because of going to school or whatever the case may be. And not only do they throw the student loans at you, but then they also throw the credit cards at you. How many people went to college? How many people were getting ready to go off to college and they were given the opportunity of student loans? Just put a hand up, put a yes in the group, in the comment section, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Facebook. Just put a hand up or a yes. How many people, when getting ready to go off to college or in college, were faced with student loan opportunities or given the opportunity to acquire credit card debt? And think about this. At that young age, how are you even able to mentally, good morning, Charlie Moon, how many people are mentally able to process, let's say your college is $25,000 a year. To go to that university, and of course that's cheap, now, universities are charging $40,000, $50,000 a year now. So imagine $25,000 worth of debt a year. After 4 years, that's $100,000. So we have people that have student loan debt from $50,000 to $100,000. And at a young age, you can't even process what that means. Because a young mind is thinking, well, if I have $50,000 worth of debt, I'm going to graduate college, this university, and I'm probably going to make about $100,000 a year because I've read in a book or I saw online that I make $100,000 a year in this profession. Yeah, not necessarily always in year one, maybe some years later down the line, but then we don't factor in the other bills and expenses that we have in life, whether it's family, kids, whatever it is. Servicing that debt, paying that monthly payment, we can't even factor that in as a child. There's no way to really, a young mind can factor in what that student loan debt was, what that credit card debt meant to us. And think about it. We are able to acquire debt. We are able to acquire loans at a young age in college, 18, 19, 20, and we don't even have a job. Who approved me for this? Why are you giving me debt and you have no idea whether or not I can pay it off? We were told and sold that this was the only way to create a future filled with opportunity. That's exactly it, guys. We are told that, hey, this is the opportunity. This is the way that you reach your goals through debt. What did America do? Since its inception, since its infancy, America took debt to be free during conflict, which happens even now. Anytime there's a conflict, anytime there is a disruption, anytime there is drama, America always borrows to try to get through. Oh my gosh, this is so good. America always borrows to try to get through and survive a situation. Whether I talk about 1776 or whether we talk about COVID in 2020, America always borrows its way through to get themselves free. Oh my goodness, please let this revelation hit you. If I wasn't sitting down, I think I'd be running. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the great Pastor Christy Conyers joining us on this morning. So, what should I say? I'll say this. If you don't have a church home, feel free, if you're not in the Hinesville area, to join us on live, Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. You can tune in. We call it the Mount, where you can tune in online, and we're definitely happy to have you there. I'm usually looking at the comment section and commenting, so definitely join us on Sundays, 10 a.m., Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church, and that is your church commercial. Yep, I got my first credit card at 17. 17? Were you in college yet? Someone knocked on my, oh yeah, okay, she answered the question. Someone knocked on my dorm door with a short application and a t-shirt. Oh man, earlier I told you all, debt can be dangerous. It can control and manipulate your life. Manipulation, not with the t-shirt. And I don't have money, I'm taking the free t-shirt. And a t-shirt as a reward for signing up. SMH. I was going to pronounce SMH like a real word, but I ain't going to do that, y'all. I'm not that ignorant. And so you must understand, America in its infancy said, France, Netherlands, give us debt so that we can survive this problem. Every war, every time there is conflict or a disruption in America, we borrow money to get through. Oh, in America, society, people as a whole, it has trickled down the mentality that you have to borrow to survive, to get through, to maintain. And I want to ask everyone one question. How is it working for you? How is this mentality working for us? Is it effective? Is it beneficial? Think about your loved ones, your friends, your family, or even yourself, and the different places and spaces that you were in when funds was tight. This debt has a lot of people already wrapped up like a mummy. And debt does not want you to get free. I want you all to really understand that there is a deeper situation happening when it comes to debt. Because you can choose to be the lender or you can choose to be the borrower. Catch what I'm saying? What mentality and beliefs do you have to be the lender? And who in America really just desires you to see the borrower? And why? Who would want you to be left in a borrowing state, knowing that as the borrower, it is not fruitful? As the borrower, when you're dealing with your personal debt and trying to get free from this personal debt, continue to wrap yourself up by borrowing your way out of situations, and you get deeper into the hole, just like the American economy, the national debt. Who would like to see you in that position? Because like Patricia Ford said earlier, it leaves you in the state of a slave. And so now you're stuck with a slave mentality. You're constantly working not to live, enjoy, and help, but you're in a situation where you're working just to pay. Oh my gosh, you're working just to pay someone so that you can survive. You're putting yourself in survival mode. And that's not a mode to live in. That's not sustainable. Anitra is replying to Pastor Christy Conyers' message saying they were set up in our student center. I think I got a cup. SMH. Shma. That's how I'm pronouncing. So listen to what I'm saying, guys, on a serious note. I want you to understand debt is sent to control and manipulate you and wrap you up in some mummy wrap for a specific reason. There's a deeper purpose. You're servicing this debt to make other people financially successful. So what if you stop being the debtor and you start being the lender? People forget how to live. Here's my next point. I want you all to understand. People forget how to live and exist without debt. Most people have now, because you have to listen to the statistics. The credit card usage and debt in America is at an all-time high right now. It is ridiculous. It's at its worst. What does that mean? People have forgotten how to live, maintain themselves and their budget without using debt, without having to use their credit cards to survive from one month to the next. It is no longer normal to be able to pay for things in cash. When most people used to pay with their debit card or used to pay with cash, remember we used to have money on us? We have been desensitized by now swiping. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Every once in a while, I want you all to start waking yourselves up by going back, and this is going to sound ancient. Every once in a while, go to the ATM machine, pull $20 out, take it to the store, and give them some cash. Put some paper, $1 in their hand, and spend it that way. So that way you can always continue to have balance in your life. Although I know swiping, showing, screening, whatever is very convenient. We have been desensitized. And so it's not as much as an emotional exchange that we have to see the amount, the number amount, leave our hand to someone else. It is a digital exchange. And like I told you all earlier, digital transactions, we are now acquiring debt through a digital transaction that is leaving us physically bound and enslaved. Once again, this is Coach Steele's Finance Training. If you're listening in, please, if you're listening in, share this information. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training. As we go through this, I want you to understand that paying for things in full, that concept, someone type in down there at the bottom for me the concept. Paying for things in full, paying for things in cash, whichever one you want. Just type in paying for things in full. I want you to understand that was a concept. That was a norm. That was just what people did. Pay for things in full. Patricia Ford says, a lender sounds pretty good to me. Yes, that's my mentality. I would rather have to lend to someone else. And of course, I receive the interest, the principal and interest payments, or I would rather lend to myself. There we go. So we have, there go my girl, Vicky Billingsley. My. And so Alabama in the house. So we have Tony Sherman saying paying in cash. I know Tony Sherman don't mind paying in cash. And so also we have Vicky Billingsley saying paying for things in full. That's the mentality that we have to have. Why? Because if you mess around and you continue the pattern of not paying for things in full, and y'all have to listen, I have common sense. So therefore, I'm talking about being realistic. I know everyone cannot pay for their brand new house in full. Some of us may be able to, some people may not. But listen to what I'm saying. Having the mentality for paying for your groceries in full. How many people do that every month? That is becoming abnormal because most people have to put it on the card, and then we sometimes say, well, I'll pay for it when I get, and then you don't do it. And then now your groceries, you're paying interest on your groceries from 5 months ago. Oh, there go my aunt. Aunt Ingrid. Love you. All right. So good morning to you, Aunt Ingrid. So happy to have you here listening in on Coach Still's finance training. That is my father's older sister. So anyway, when we talk about the mentality of paying for things in full, it is a concept that is now becoming extinct in America. It is now becoming abnormal. There go my boy Brandon. I like Brandon's last name. Brandon Budget. And that's what I'm talking about. That is the mentality that I'm having. When we get down to the bottom of all of this, you have to know how to budget. You have to know how to maintain and manage your finances. You have to know how much you have coming in and how much you have going out. Why? Because once you know that, you know what you can afford and you know what you can't afford. But in America, when they give you a card, and let me make sure I put my card in the right direction so I don't show no numbers or anything. I don't know if I got on here. When they give you a card, all we do is swipe. All we do is swipe. And so we do not have to budget. We do not have to figure out how much we have coming in and going out because all I have to do is swipe this card. What am I telling you? This is a setup. At the end of the day, you still need to know what you have coming in and you have to know how much you have going out every month. Otherwise, we're playing a guessing game. And when you play that guessing game, that's when they're going to get the best of you. That's when they're going to come to you with the paper and tell you 0% interest for 15 months. And so now if I can get 0% interest for 15 months on something like this, and they're going to tell me I'm going to earn $20,000 in bonus, I'm going to rush to sign up, right? And once I rush to sign up, life is going to happen. And I keep running everything up for a year and a half, well, a year and 3 months. And then I have to come up with the money. Now I have to find the money to pay for all of that stuff. But something has now happened, tripped me up, and I don't have enough. It is a trap. It is called the debt trap. That is what I'm talking about today. Understand the debt trap. And I'm not saying not to use a credit card, but what I am telling you today is you need to be very strategic if you are. If you're going to use debt, you need to know how to be low gearing and not high gearing in your business. Patricia Ford says, budget is very important, but sometimes I don't seriously. Okay, so let me fuss at you. Can I fuss at you? Yes, I can. So I'm not going to fuss at you. But so what I want to do and what I challenge you to do, Patricia, is and this is so fun. It's not fun, really, when you go through the process, but it is fun when you're done. What I do, and I tell everyone, is go print off bank statements, credit card statements, whatever it is that shows where you swiped and you have record of your money that came in and went out. Go print that stuff off, and I want you to go through and add everything up. How much of it was, I just had a client the other day that I was working with, and so she's going through and she's writing all of her grocery store stops, that total, gas, all this other stuff. And she printed off, she only got to do 2 months, but she printed off 3 months. And she called me the other day and she said, Simon, oh my gosh. Oh, I did not realize how many times I have stopped by the store. And so she's already like frustrated with herself. I said, this is good because you're opening up your eyes to how much you're doing. And now we can make adjustments. So I said, hurry up and finish adding up those numbers so we can get to the fun part of this. So anyway, Patricia Ford, I challenge you to print off about 2 months of documents and information of how your money was going in and out. And then we get specific with it. How much of it was groceries? How much of it was gas? How much was electric bill, water bill, so on and so forth, so that we can really get to the bottom of not only how much went out, but where was it going? Some of it is valid. Some of it is not. And so what does Anitra, teacher, baker, party maker say? She said, when I started learning my numbers, I could take authority. Don't you make me throw this thing. You cannot use the word authority like that around me. It just does something. Y'all listen to what I'm saying. She said, when she started learning her numbers, I could take authority. If all you learn is this and all you learn is this, there's no authority in that because this is not what you own. This is not what you own. All of that has to be paid back. That is lender items. I'm sorry, those are borrower items. Those are borrower mentality. She said when she started learning her numbers, in other words, let me put it in a different language. She said, when I started stewarding what I have better, when I started monitoring and maintaining what I'm blessed with and what I have, then I begin to operate in authority. There's certain principles. There's a certain mentality that you have to get out of the debt trap. That's why I started here earlier about throwing that old mentality away and putting on a new mindset. And one of the beautiful principles I already told you all were that if you operate as a peacemaker, oh, blessed are the peacemakers. When you operate as a peacemaker, you are less likely to have to get in debt. You are less likely to have problems that are going to cost you money. Pastor Christy Conyers said that printout will humble you. Yes, it will. That printout, listen what I'm telling y'all, because I do it all the time, and every single time it humbles me. When I get my calculator and I get my printouts and I have to do the math, and then every time you hit enter, listen to what I'm saying. You're going to keep looking at that number, and when you realize you're still not done, that's when it gets you. When you realize I'm not done, and this number is already outrageous. This number is already disrespectful. This number is already diabolical. I don't like this number. Where did this number come from? Man. Oh, she preaching now. That's why y'all got to tune in Sunday, 10 a.m. to the Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church on YouTube or on Facebook. And so she said, Anitra, amen, said, woo, indeed. And Pastor Conyers said, it will make you pull them pots out and chill at home. It sure will. It sure will, because you'll realize how much, whether it's Target, whether it's Costco, whether it's Walmart, whether it's Food Lion, whether it's, matter of fact, y'all know y'all stores y'all go to, whether it's Dollar General, Dollar Store, Dollar Tree. Where do y'all get y'all groceries from? Where are some of those places where's the majority, where's the store that you go to that you spend a lot of your money on groceries at? Or I don't know if I should put the store, it's those fast food places. Yeah, let's deal with that. Where do you go? What fast food place gets a majority of your money during the month? That's what I want to know. Where do you go that gets a majority of your money? Oh, Shirley Fraser, you tuned in on this morning. Happy to have you. Ooh, I got to interview you one day too, Shirley Fraser. I have to, because you're an entrepreneur as well. And actually, while everyone's listening in, next Saturday, if everything goes well, and I understand that Pastor Conyers is a very busy person, so I want you all to know, if her schedule doesn't change, because I know that it can, I will be interviewing Pastor Conyers next Saturday morning. She will be here live next Saturday. So definitely you want to tune in. We're going to have a fun time, and hopefully she behaves while she's here. And so she'll be being interviewed next Saturday morning. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. And let me keep up with a lot of y'all messages here, because y'all just having a whole conversation down here. And so she did talk about pulling those pots out. Patricia Ford saying she's totally in agreement. You know what I like right here? Shirley Fraser put Walmart. I see a lot of women in the comment section, and I'm so happy, because this mentality that women have to be broke, busted, and disgusted, and paycheck to paycheck, and can't maintain themselves, and women aren't prepared for retirement, we're going to bust those statistics out of the water and all of those myths, because we don't have to walk into that stuff. We can make changes. We can make adjustments. And so let's see. Walmart's taking a lot of money. Shirley Fraser pockets. And let's see. Nicole said, I will make you delete your Amazon and Shin cart. And so I don't know. Maybe she's talking about she spends a lot of money at Amazon. Maybe. I might misunderstand it. Okay, Shirley Fraser, all love to you. Oh, Anitra, Wingstop. Ooh, Wingstop became me stop. And so what's funny is I don't eat out as much. I usually eat from home. I eat a lot from the house. I go buy groceries and then I eat from home. And another myth that for everyone, when they say if you eat healthy, it's more expensive, I really don't think so. Because starting off, it might feel that way because you're trying to eat so much. But once you start a routine and a pattern of eating healthy or buying your groceries and eating from home and learning how to cook things in bulk, sometimes you actually quit eating as much and it doesn't take as much to fill you up. And also, you save a lot of money because you're cooking in bulk. And so, when you're hungry, you're not rushing at the last minute to go to the store. How many people on here have ever gone to the store when they're hungry? Let's say you got done working out or you was traveling, whatever the case may be, and you had to go to a store or a place to order food and you were hungry, you were starving. Of course, your bill got disrespectful. So anyway, as we continue to go through, I'm trying to think of a place that really gets my money a lot as far as fast food. I just don't go to fast food a lot. Maybe one of the Chinese places sometimes, but not really. I really don't eat out a lot. So as we talk about this debt trap, guys, and the mentality that we have to get out of when it comes to this debt trap, let's go a little bit further. I was talking about how paying for things in full, paying for things in cash, that mentality is becoming extinct in America. And that's one of the things. Oh my, if you talk to a young person nowadays and you say, well, you know what, you just might have to wait to get it. That sounds foreign to people in America. It sounds foreign that you might have to wait or you might have to save up enough money to get it, because their mentality is, why do I have to wait when I have a car? Why do I have to wait when I can get it and just pay these people back later? Why? Because it is a trap, because it is not safe. It is not wise. Certain things are not worth the squeeze. You have to shift your mentality. You got to shift your mentality or you're going to fall into the trap. Do you think the banks made credit cards? Do you think they made these cards for you and the convenience for you? Or do you think that they made it for the convenience of themselves? Credit cards were created and invented because they did the research and the work to realize that if they hand these out, the banks could make tons and tons of money off of people. They are betting on we don't have the discipline and we don't have the focus and we don't have the finances to pay this back in time before they charge us any interest. And the banks are winning because they bet on this, they gambled on this plastic card, and it worked for them. And so you have to be careful. One of the things you can do is wean yourself off of this card if you have a credit card problem. Learn how to wean yourself off this card. You wean yourself off of the trap. Stop trying to keep up with and have everything else that everybody has. Learn to be comfortable where you are. So there's a lot of little pointers and tips and tricks that I'm talking to you about. And so you have to understand that at a young age, we have been trained and it has become a habit, a pattern of mentality for us to acquire debt at a young age so that we stay in this pattern, that we stay in this routine. You have to understand that the financial institutions are double dipping on you. Listen to what I'm saying. The bank gives you credit card. The bank gives you a loan. The bank gives you a mortgage. The bank finances your car. How's the bank double dipping on you? Well, where do you store your money? Where do you put your money when you get paid? Where do your direct deposits go? How convenient was that? Where do you go to cash that check? Think about it. It goes to the bank. Do you know that the bank, when the bank receives your direct deposits, they are able to, once that new money hits their account, they are able to loan out a portion of your funds. They're able to loan out your money to someone else or another entity and collect interest from it. The bank is double dipping on you. The bank is using your money to become the lender. The bank is using what you have to lend out. The bank uses what other people have. This is just one of the ways that banks make money. They lend out what you have. They give you a little interest sometimes if you actually put your money in a savings account, and they keep the arbitrage. They keep the difference. So if the bank lends out what you have, then that means technically you already have it. So technically you could become the lender if you wanted to. There's a way to do it, but everyone doesn't have that education and that information. So you can become the bank. Let's move on past that, because I want to deal with this debt trap, and I want you to understand. I'm just bringing some parallels so that you can understand the system that we're in and the pattern that's happening and why you have the mentality you have when it comes to this debt and how to get out of it. And you must understand that when they're teaching you and training you to be in debt at such a young age, it's all fun and games, and it's cool. And of course, your credit score can be out of whack when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, so on and so forth. But what happens when it's time to buy a house? Nicole said, looking at the numbers will make you delete your secret carts. In other words, oh my goodness, not the secret carts. Don't do this to me. Nicole, don't do this to me. Don't tell me there's secret carts out there. If you start talking about secret carts, is the cart a secret anymore? So anyway, if you got secret carts and those secret carts are costing you, those carts are dangerous. You know why? Because Amazon. What if Amazon only took debit? What if Amazon didn't take credit? The level at which those carts are full will be different. Oh, some people telling on me. Oh my gosh, what is going on here? Let's see. People are telling on me. Let's get down to it. Okay, Anitra, teacher, baker, party maker says Zaxby, sir. Okay, I must admit, I forgot. Had a brief lapse in memory. Zaxby's. Yeah, those are my dogs. Zaxby's my people. I think we related. And so, yeah, Zaxby's does get a good amount of money on me. Is it Yvette Steele? She put Zaxby's. Yeah, people busting me out. That's fine. Okay. Enough of that. All right. Tony Sherman says, worst thing to do is to grocery shop when hungry. Oh my gosh, it is. It's bad. It's bad. If you're hungry and you go in the grocery store, please just go rush over to the produce section and go grab some grapes and fruit tray. Just hurry up and get there and hold it in your hand while you look for everything else to remind yourself that you're not going to do what your flesh wants you to do, and which is go grab everything in there and go crazy. And let's see, Anitra says, yes, indeed, it is the worst. You end up with more than what was on the list. Even by the checkout area, when you see all those Snickers, Butterfingers, and all that, and you're hungry, you know you can tear one of them things open real quick and get busy, and you're not even going to get full. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Other debt traps, Afterpay and Klarna. Lord, I don't even know what that is. See, Nicole is talking about secret carts. Pastor Christy Conyers is talking about Afterpay and Klarna. I don't even know what that is. So that's how far out the loop I am. So there's some other stuff out there that are traps. And I'm guessing those are other debt traps that'll get you caught up and throw off your finances. Because Afterpay, what is that? Pay after? No, pay now. So once again, that concept of pay in full, like Tony Sherman put pay in cash, we have to pay attention to these things and get out of the debt trap. There are so many creative ways to get out of the debt trap. And if you don't know how to get out of debt, hit me up on the side and I'll send you some information that may be helpful for you. Anitra says, the bank is telling us that we are the investment and we do not see it. You're going to make me throw this thing. Oh my God. Can we let that marinate? I'm so serious. You are the investment. The bank sees you as the asset. You have assets, you have liabilities. Liabilities are the things that cause money to leave your pockets. Liabilities are the things that cost you. Let's say you have a car and it's not in Turo and it's not whatever being rented out and you just use it. It's a liability. It's just costing you every month. It's debatable. Somebody can say, well, I use it to go to work so it makes me money. Okay, whatever. My point is liability are things that cost you. Money is leaving. Asset brings cash flow. Assets allow you to make money. The bank sees you. You are an asset. I don't care what you thought about yourself before. You have to understand, shift the mindset. You're an asset. You're valuable. Who are you valuable to? Well, the bank that says you're valuable because you give them a direct deposit every month, sometimes twice a month. Who knows? Some of y'all might be bringing the bank even more money than twice a month, depending on how many streams of income that you have. So the bank sees you as an asset and they see you as an investment because they can make money off your money. What am I saying? The bank makes money off of your digital deposits, something that is not even necessarily tangible. The intangible digital deposit that you make, the bank makes money off of it. Whatever the bank does, you can do as well. Let me move past that. Okay. We have the same ability as the bank. Wow. Okay. I'm a little behind on that one. Nicole had to confess it to be set free. I like that. Buy now online and pay later. That's what that afterpay is. Ooh, I don't like that. That's a setup. Okay. Okay. Brandon Holden. That's my boy. Brandon, nice to have you here online. It says, yes, afterpay was a huge trap for me. I had to stop using it. We got so many confessions and testimonies on today that people are talking about these different things. I can't even imagine. I would run from afterpay. That sounds crazy. You know how much debt and things you can pile up on top of you because, just pay later. Who does that benefit? Does that benefit me or the person I got to pay later? It's a trap. We have to get out of this debt trap. Y'all turning up on here. Okay. What's going to happen when I got 1,000 people? I don't even know if I can be able to read all of it. The bank is wicked and giving me a little interest. No way. Patricia Ford. We're going to talk about how much interest that bank is giving you when I run into you. And we're going to make sure that you have your funds in a high yield interest savings account. That way you can maximize the interest that the bank is giving you and limit how much they get back instead. Because if that bank is giving you less than 1%, but they're loaning your money out at 10% interest to someone, then that means they're making at least 9%. And they give you the 1. When they get that 10%, they give you the 1% and they keep the 9. So we got to cut a lot of that out. Anyway, Anitra says Klarna, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it properly. Klarna, Afterpay, and Sezzle buy now, pay later. I don't even know what Sezzle is. See, y'all got these things, y'all. Just thought about buying on Afterpay. LOL. Don't do it. Don't do it. We're going to rebuke Afterpay and all this other stuff. We got to open up. You know what? What if we became Afterpay? What if we position ourselves for people to, instead of us using their service, what if we become the service that people use? We have a whole nother conversation in here right now. And so actually, if you're still on Brandon Holden, tell everybody your business and what you do. Drop that in the chat section as well. And hopefully we can have you on and interview you as well, Brandon, if you're still on. Let everybody know what you do and Brandon is still here, I believe. And let them know what service you provide. Okay, I got something for y'all. Y'all think I can't keep up with these comments. I got something for y'all. Okay, Patricia Ford said, thank you. Y'all gonna make me laugh. Don't make me do this. I like the AHT. And so that's a classic. Brandon says, Afterpay is okay for here and there, but I was abusing it. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when it gets too abusive, out of control, and you don't have it in control. Every time I paid it off, I bought something else, and it became a monthly bill at that point. Does Afterbill come with like interest as well? That's what I'm wondering. Like with Afterpay, is it like 20? Is it like credit card interest, like 20%? 10%, 8%. What does it look like? Anitra says, please do a live on these buy now, pay later companies. I might try to. I don't know. We might do like I might do a video, or either I have one of y'all come on here and testify and talk about this stuff. Some of y'all experts. We might do like a group conversation on these Afterpay, Sezzles, and whatever else. And so Sister Shirley Frazier says, let's do it. There we go. BH Holding Up. I like to see how y'all use that. See, I use the play on words, last name Holden. It's called Holding Up TV Mountain. So if you're like in the Liberty County, Hinesville, Savannah, Jessup, Glenville areas, I'm not sure how far out he'll go. Bryan County, Richmond Hill, Pooler. If you're in any of those areas and you're tuning in and you need TV mounting, check them out on Facebook. And no problem at all, Brandon. I'm sure back in the day when I had you doing stuff, whether we're running laps, suicides on the basketball court, or y'all had to listen to my fussing, you did what you had to do. So now it's my turn to give back. Okay, so it's no interest. So with Afterpay, it's no interest, but it can throw your budget off. Okay, I see where that can hurt you, because if you say, okay, I'll pay later, pay later, the next month, now your budget is kind of thrown off. That's interesting. So I wonder how they make their money on Afterpay. Yeah, we do have to do some research so I can understand it better. Okay, Yvette put good idea. All right. And Shirley Frazier says, it used to be an AA credit union in Liberty County. All right, so that's my boy right there. That's my boy, Jordan. Love you, Jordan. Always. I don't care if we ain't speak in 50 million years. Always got love for you, man. Anyway, I got a lot of respect for Jordan just for as a young man and the different things he did to push himself in life to get to where he's going. So anyway, hard work pays off. So anyway, guys, as we continue to go through this, and I know I don't want to hold you all too much longer, understand it's all fun and games when you're in college and you're going through these different things in life. You have to understand, I didn't know that. That's interesting. That's very interesting when that you put that on there, Shirley Frazier, that there was an African-American credit union in Liberty County. And I know there's like I guess we call it a black-owned bank in Savannah as well, well, there was a while back. Not sure if there still is. But as we go through this, it's all fun and games until now you want to advance in life and you've over leveraged yourself. And listen to what I'm saying. There's this thing called debt to income ratio. Debt to income ratio. We have to be careful because we can throw our DTI off, debt to income ratio off, and then we can't make the moves that we want to make financially. Then we can't find it. Like there are certain things, and I know there's different ways to grow a business and expand a business, scale a business. And sometimes people leverage debt to scale or expand their business. And you can have business debt, you can have personal debt, which is attached to your Social Security number. Regardless of how you cut it, you want to put yourself in a position. Thank you very much, Anitra. Shirley Frazier said it was with Dorchester Academy. It is still in Savannah, Carver. Okay. Cool. And so debt to income ratio, when you're trying to make moves, I'll deal with the personal. Jordan Gilliard says still dropping gems. Why? Because for years I've been dropping gems to people and now I'm just putting it on a platform. This is nothing new for anybody who thinks it's new. It's nothing new. Always been doing this. If you've been around me, you're going to get a nugget whether you like it or not. I just throw it on you, put it on you. You got to get. Why? Because I want to see people get better. I want to see people genuinely improve. And we can do it. We can do it as a group. We can do it united, and we're going to shift and move. This is Coach Steele's Finance Training. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube to Coach Steele's Finance Training. And so what happens is, listen to what I'm saying, women, minorities, anybody who's listening, having financial problems, I'm dealing with statistics. The reason why we can't maneuver through the financial world is because of this trap. Now when that lady, now when that woman, now when that minority, whoever it is ready to go buy a home, ready to finance a car, ready to expand their business, ready to scale, they can't make the moves they can because they're in a trap. Now the bank is telling you, listen to this, listen to the logic. Oh, I want y'all to catch this. I'm dropping so much revelation and understanding in here. Listen to what the bank is going to tell you. I want to give you what you need, this loan, whatever it is, to help you get into the house, to help you acquire a car for transportation for work, or the funds you need to expand your business. But the problem is your debt to income ratio is too high. Your DTI is above 43%. Your DTI is above 45%, whatever that bank standard is. Every bank has different standards. Some of them have even higher standards, but your credit score has to be immaculate for them to look past certain things. I can't give you this financing. I can't give you what you need because we don't believe you have the capacity to pay it back. So now you're trapped and limited because the bank says you're not qualified. Now you have a job. Now you have income. When you were 18, 19, 20, in your infancy, growing into your financial world, you had no job. But you were extremely qualified for student loans. You were extremely qualified for those credit cards based off potential that you would have money in the future. Listen to the hypocrisy. But now that I have you in the trap, and now that you owe me, and you have over leveraged yourself, and you're in this rat race, in this system that we have encapsulated you in, now I cannot give you what you're asking for. I baited you. I strung you along. You followed the carrot. You're in the trap, and now you're limited. Now you are on a debt budget. I only can give you so much now. I have you trapped enough to where I don't have to give you anything else. You just need to pay me. You can't qualify, but you do qualify to pay me forever. Get out of this hole. Congratulations. And so there's a trap that is set up for you to be in, for you to be a worker and be a slave to the lender. If you borrow, you end up being a slave to the lender and you over leverage yourself. And it's all fun and games until we get to that point, and now we can't get out. Now we can't do what we want to do. Now you're stuck renting. For how long? There are some people that are stuck renting for 20, 30 years because DTI, debt trap, credit score, you name it. All these different things have happened. Thank you for tuning in, Lisa Scott. Happy to have you here. And tuning in, Coach Steele's Finance Training. We're talking about getting out of this debt trap, Lisa. We're talking about how society says minority women and women in general are living paycheck to paycheck, about 70% of them, and that most women and minorities are least likely to be prepared for retirement. But when you look at the statistics, it's basically saying most of America as a whole, 66%, is paycheck to paycheck, and most of America as a whole are not prepared for retirement. So it doesn't matter what color or creed you are, a lot and most people are falling into this category. And I want you all to know that it's no longer time for fun and games and to continue to get put in these traps, but we have to find a way to get out. And what's one of the creative ways that we get out of debt? What the bank does and what wealthy people do, one thing that I do is we acquire assets. We have to get out of the mindset of acquiring debt and shift ourselves to the mindset of acquiring assets. Someone if you're listening in, type in the comment section, or if you're on YouTube Live in the chat, type in acquire assets. Shift to acquiring assets. Shift our mentality to acquiring assets. Acquire assets. We need to be typing in there, acquire assets, acquire assets. What are assets? Well, there's different asset classes. Now, most people estimate or say that there's like 7 different asset classes, but I believe there's at least 8 minimum, at least 8. But I'm going to write a book about it. Whatever they say the number is, I'm going to write a book about a new asset class that I thought of. And so Anitra has put acquire assets. Tony Sherman has put get assets. Kelvin Conyers has put assets. And so as you see this, we are going to, and we can, and we will acquire assets. Because assets bring in income. Shift from acquiring debt to acquiring assets. Listen, when you shift your mindset to acquire assets, you have shifted your mindset to be able to pay for things in full. When you shift to acquiring assets, things that bring in income, then now you're shifting your mindset to be able to pay in full, pay in cash, be able to acquire. Courtney Burton, definitely happy to have you on. Corey Burton comes in and says, acquire assets. And so you have to understand, okay, Miss Loretta Rose, a real estate agent. Miss Loretta, make sure you tap in and put, what realty company you're with or how people can reach out to you and things like that in the comments section. Feel free. And so we have to acquire assets. Why? We rush to acquire debt. We will jump through hoops to acquire debt in a mindset only to borrow. We acquire debt with the mindset only to borrow. I'm not talking about people who might go get a $5,000 business loan and they get some T-shirts and some designs and all this other stuff, and they create a T-shirt company and they acquire all of these different assets through leveraging, and then now they're bringing in cash flow. They pay off the $5,000 to get the business started, and now they're cash flowing. I'm not talking about those people. Understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about people, we are rushing to acquire debt just to pay someone back. But you need to rush to acquire assets so that you can bring in cash flow, so that you can bring in money. That's the mentality and shift that we have to have. Now, there's different asset classes from stocks, bonds, gold, commodities, even cryptocurrency is seen as an asset. Okay, Vicki Billingsley comes in with assets. Loretta says she is with Caldwell Banker, Southern Coast. And so I used to play pickleball a lot with Loretta and her husband, and I had fun down there at the YMCA. I don't know if my knees can still handle the pickleball field. But anyway, we have to acquire assets. One of the assets that I love to acquire, and I show a little favoritism and a little bias to, is, and okay, we have Mickey David here saying acquire assets. One of the things that I really love acquiring is real estate. I think real estate is an amazing asset to acquire. It's beautiful because there's nothing like it for a number of reasons. I acquire real estate. I don't care if you acquire real estate through wholesaling or if you're doing real estate business through flipping, through buy and hold, if you're using the BRRRR method, and whatever it is that you use real estate for. I like buy and hold because buy, hold, and then I rent out. So if you buy, hold, and rent out, then you put tenants in the property and they pay rent on the 1st through the 5th of every month. So whether I'm awake or asleep, and of course, tomorrow is the 1st. So we know what's going to be happening in the next few days. Regardless, that money comes in. And of course, you have to be wise because if the property does have a mortgage attached to it, then of course you need to make sure you make that mortgage payment at minimum. And also you do have profit for yourself as well. So you take care of the overhead, whatever that overhead may be, whether it's the mortgage payment, property tax, insurance, property management, lawn maintenance, whatever those requirements are, operating expenses. And of course you keep the profit. And so therefore, through that asset that I've acquired, it brings in money. And what happens then? Now, let's say I want a car. Now, let's say I want to go to, like Nicole had the secret carts. or whatever it is that I have, I'm going to use the asset to pay for the liabilities. I'm going to use the asset or the products that I create. And of course, one of the entrepreneurs that has had an interview on this show, Anitra, who's on in the comment section, she makes these beautiful candles. And so when she makes these candles, she has made them. And then, of course, she eventually sells them. And through selling them, she makes a profit. And from that profit, she can now buy other things or expand her business. This is Coach Steele's Finance Training. Make sure that as you're listening in, you do go to the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training, and subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training. I'm live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. on YouTube and on Facebook. Even if you listen in on Facebook, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, for everyone that's listening in, you have a chance at eventually winning I got to get that number right. Almost messed up. You have a chance at winning $50. When can you possibly win $50? Well, we are almost at 300 subscribers on YouTube. That's why I almost said $300, but I'm not giving away $300 unless the Lord just moves me in such a way. And even if I did it, I would cut it up into give it for multiple winners, not just one. But I'm going to give away $50 when we get to 300 subscribers. We are very, very close, guys. And we're still talking about the debt trap and getting out of debt. And I will show you all how close we are to 300 subscribers. When we get to 300 subscribers, I'm going to do a $50 giveaway. And it says right now that, let's see how it shows up on the screen. It says right now that I am at 287 subscribers right now. So we're at 287. We're about 13 people away from 300. And when we get to 300, I'm going to give $50 away. Feel free to go on the YouTube channel. You'll see all these beautiful videos about different things, debt in America, entrepreneurship, interviews, dividend stocks, should I buy a house, you name it. There's all type of interviews on there. If you missed any of the lives from the previous Saturdays, planning for retirement, how bad do you want it, all these different videos on here. Feel free to go on there and watch that stuff. So back to the main screen. So I'll end up giving Mr. Reggie, calm down. So on YouTube, one of the YouTube subscribers said 300 sounds great. And so listen to what I'm saying, guys. I'm going to give $50 away when we get to 300 subscribers. And I may just do $50 or I may do 25 and 25 so we can have two winners. Now, keep in mind, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to the instructions. Down there in the ticker where it says Debt Trap, subscribe, YouTube. You know what? I spelled coach wrong. Let me fix that real quick. That is a crying shame. Lord have mercy. I don't like that. Let's fix that real quick. And so where it says down there on the ticker, Coach Steele's The Debt Trap. Let me get out of here and back to chat. Coach Steele's Finance Training. And then, of course, it has the YouTube channel name at Coach Steele Finance. Look at that email down there. Make sure you write down that email address, coachsteelefinance@gmail.com. If you want a chance at winning the $50, or either I'm going to give away two $25 gift cards. If you want a chance at winning it, you need to email me at Coach Steele Finance. Email me, coachsteelefinance@gmail.com. And in that email, you need to write down one of the titles of one of the YouTube videos. Whatever YouTube video you want on my YouTube channel, just write down one of the titles of one of the videos and make sure you're subscribed to. A subscriber is going to win the money. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, shoot me an email, and write down one of the titles of the YouTube videos, and you will be in the drawing as a potential winner of that $50, or if I do $25 a piece. Now, of course, if I get some type of huge blessing or something crazy in the next before I get to 300, then of course I don't mind giving away $300. What is $300? Pennies. Anyway, so someone did ask, where can we get your candles, Anitra, as well? And let me wrap this up. Let me get close to the end here because I want us to get out of the financial trap. We have to acquire assets. It's not difficult to acquire assets like people think. And that's something else I want you to understand. It is not as difficult to acquire assets as you think, but it does start, and we'll deal with that another day about acquiring assets and how to do that, whether you do it on a small scale, whether you do it little by little, or whether you do it on a larger scale. It's not difficult to acquire assets, but it does start with our budget. It does start with how we manage money. And when you start doing your budget properly and managing money better, you'll get more confident and you'll have more confidence in acquiring assets. And so I started with one property and it began to multiply to more properties because I began to get more confident in my budget. And when I got confident in my budget and maintaining, like Anitra mentioned, learning my numbers, like Pastor Conyers mentioned, looking at that paper, doing the math, getting that calculator out, adding up where your money is going, identifying where those dollars are going, you get more confident. So don't run away from what is going to seem like frustrating to get those numbers and understand what's in your budget, what you have coming in monthly, what you have going out, and where each dollar is specifically going, because that's what's going to give you the confidence to acquire assets. Also, I already talked to you all about credit cards at an all-time high, and there is a way out. And that's what I want to talk to you all about. It starts one with learning your budget. But if you are extremely in, and it doesn't even have to be extreme, whether it's a little bit of debt or whether it's a lot of debt and you need guidance, if you need advice, feel free to shoot me an email. I will respond to that email and we can figure out if I need to point you in the right direction, if you need to figure out how to get out of debt, how to pay that mortgage off, how to pay your consumer debt off. You may not have a mortgage, but we can have a conversation to help you to get to your destination so that you can be in a better place financially. And once again, I definitely appreciate everyone from tuning in. I already told you all, I knew this morning was going to be epic. I knew it was going to be a classic, and you all have done an amazing job of participating, and you kind of challenged me as you all were commenting in those comment sections. I was like, whoa, okay, all right, let me keep up with what everybody's got going on, and you all kept up with what I had going on. Definitely appreciate everyone. I do not count it lightly that you took time out to have a conversation with me about financial literacy. This is part of the way we are going to get ourselves to where we need to be financially. This is how, as a team, Coach Steele's Finance Training, this is how we are going to be able to expand knowledge. This is a hub. This is a location. This is a platform where we will share information to get us to where we need to be financially. I do not want to be at the mountaintop by myself. I want to be able to be at the mountaintop with the rest of Coach Steele's Finance Training team as we continue to huddle up. I want all of us at the mountaintop, and we got to have a cookout if we up there. So I don't want to have to bring the charcoal and the salmon by myself. I need somebody else to bring the hot dogs, the hamburgers, and whatever else that we need when we get to this mountaintop together as a family. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, show some love. We're going to get to that 300. Y'all going to make me give $50 away, and we're all going to be happy because it will make all of us better. I think that is about it. And once again, peace, love. Appreciate you for tuning in. I'll see you next Saturday morning, 9 a.m. We are going to have an epic guest coming in to speak next Saturday, Pastor Christy Conyers. We are going to be talking about financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and mental health. Yes. So it's going to be a combination of all of those. That's going to be another classic interview. You don't want to miss it. So make sure Saturday morning you get everything situated and out of the way. Whether you're cleaning, whether you get your popcorn and you sit down, if you fix your breakfast at 7:45, have all of it ready. We're going to start at 9 a.m. We'll be on time and we'll be ready to rock. Thank you for tuning in once again. Peace and blessings.